quite did. Taco Tuesday, I think. Yep. Oh, yeah. Very interesting route day. The last couple of days have been interesting. Yesterday I was down in way south central Wisconsin, down by the DC area, this distribution center, and I was like, what's going on with this? And I found out in short order what's going on. The self-proclaimed best tech in the company, even though he got a promotion and he's supposedly some sort of manager, trainer kind of thing for new recruits and apparently for customers, we're going to set up a lab down at our headquarters that has appliances in it. And when a customer buys an appliance, they can come in to that lab and get tutelage from the self-proclaimed best tech in the company on how to use that appliance and all of the perks of that appliance above and beyond what the sales rep tells them. This guy can't fix his way out of a wet paper bag without throwing tons of parts at something. So anyway, I was on a call yesterday and working on this refrigerator that has a chest freezer down on the bottom, and on the right side rail mechanism, something's wonky with it, and when you go to shut the door, it'll hang open on that right side. And if you're not paying attention, the door alarm won't go off. If you're not paying attention, that thing will sit there and suck warm air into the freezer and create a bunch of snow and ice. The first suspicion I had when I first went there was that the door was warped, and that was causing the left side to seal but not the right side. So I replaced the door. Didn't solve the problem. I then ordered a set of rails and slides for both sides that the drawer slides out and on. And I went there yesterday and I replaced those. Still didn't solve the problem. So I called Tech Line. I'm like, what do I do? And it's like registering the situation when you call them. And I said, I'm out of ideas. I've replaced everything on this that would solve this problem. You got anything I'm not seeing? And he had me check a couple of things like mounting screw attachment points and make sure the unit's level, left to right, front to back, things like this. I did all that. Door still won't close on that right side. So he said, well, there's a possibility that the cabinet itself is warped, the whole box of the refrigerator. And this problem was happening to this customer right out of the crate. So it wasn't something that developed 2 years down the road. It was right out of the box. So GE condemned the unit as unrepairable. Well, while I was in the course of doing all this work, the self-proclaimed best tech of the company chimes in on our Teams messaging app and says, I might have a suggestion for that call that you're on right now. Do this, 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 and this. I've had that problem before, and that solved the issue. Now, everything that he suggested, I'd already done, because I am literally the best tech in the company. So I already thought of that, and I did it. And I told him that. I said, yeah, I've already considered those options and tried them, blah, blah, blah. But here's what's funny. Why did he chime in? He's sitting in an office right now monitoring and babysitting all of the text calls. Kind of like what JC does when he was here. Babysitting, micromanaging, sitting in his office and watching us throughout our day as we go do our calls and we type our notes in and we take our pictures and we come to our consensus as to what's wrong with each case. The self-proclaimed best tech in the company is doing that. Why is he sitting in an office on a computer stalking us? He injured himself. I didn't ask him how. He pulled a bicep in his arm and tore some ligaments. I don't know what he was doing. But he's basically office bound. He's not out on the road doing his calls. So this is why I am migrating down into his area. So today, I have 2 calls. The farthest one out is in a city, not a town, called Oshkosh. That's by Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's a big metropolitan area. I got to go down there to a Lowe's home center and put a bunch of the self-proclaimed best tech in the company's parts into a dryer at the Lowe's store. Customer return. Lowe's contracts us to fix it. We fix it in the store, and then they are able to resell it as a scratch and dent or a reconditioned unit. Yep, and then there's another call down there in a town called Marion. It's a diagnostic on a microwave, over-the-range microwave, that the fan quit working. Yep. And then my last call is in way up here in the pickers to go put a knob on a dryer that broke. Yep. FML. Meanwhile, who's up in my area poking around? It's closer to send DTR and his new trainee over to Oshkosh and deal with this issue than it is to send him up to my neck of the woods, screw things up, and I drive from Northwoods all the way down and east by Lake Superior to this call. Now, true to form, whenever I run around behind the self-proclaimed best tech in the company, I always re-diagnose. Yep. He usually gets it wrong. So that's what I'm going to do on this dryer. I'm going to re-diagnose, and I will put in the parts, because he's ordered a bunch of parts. I'll put in the parts that it actually needs, not the rest of the parts that are a handful of spaghetti thrown against the wall in the hopes something sticks and fixes the issue. So yeah, he and I interacted yesterday. And he didn't act like I was his worst enemy. I wonder why that is. That's because pretty near every single person in the appliance service crew, doesn't like him. He doesn't have friends. His coworkers don't like him. So I don't give him any slack or flack. I don't talk to him. I don't argue with him. I ignore him. And I'm the only guy left in the crew that he hasn't heard from, he hasn't interacted with. He knows I don't like him. I made that perfectly clear. He knows that I know he's fake. He's all smoke and mirrors. But I'm the only guy left that openly doesn't express my displeasure with him. The new guys, yep, they've come right out and told him, you're a whatever. Some of them have gone to management and said, I refuse to work with that guy. Yep, some of the new guys. Either you don't have me work with him, train with him, or I'm out of here. That's how bad this guy is. He's on a power trip. Major power trip. Yep. Yep. And prior to working here, he was a gas station attendant. He worked at a Quick Mart at the cash register. And then after that, he was working in our warehouse down at the headquarters, loading trucks, sofas, furniture, loading trucks, pushing a cart around. And then an opening came in the appliance service division, and he applied, and he was the only one that applied from within the company, and they gave him the job. And it's been a nightmare ever since. But he's power hungry. He's trying to take over. He's trying to get into a position of management so he can boss people around. And we all see it. Yep. He's too big for his britches. He has a major ego. And nobody likes him. So he injured himself. Tore a bicep in his muscle and a ligament or something. And he's on office duty for a while. So he's sitting in an office staring at a computer screen, trying to make himself look productive and babysitting us. I'm sending random messages out to all the techs, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you clown. Anyway, I'm going to have to interact with him today when I go down to his call in Oshkosh at the Lowe's store and find out where I got to go in that store to get to this unit. Yeah. I'm not just going to go to the service desk and say, hey, yeah, I'm here to fix a dryer. Can you show me where to go? I'll begrudgingly contact him and find out where this thing is and how I get there. Dig. So that's my work day. Yeah, so I'm in early. It's not even 8 o'clock yet. Woke up at 4. Yep, no alarm needed. I went to bed early. Yeah, I was pulling the covers up to my chin around 7:30. Ate some dinner, sat in the chair, hit a wall. But I did get some stuff done. My Jeep, all the lights on my Jeep, the headlights, the fog lights, the big flamethrowers on the A-pillars, they were all crusted up with dirt, bugs and stuff, and they were dim. So last night when I got home, I grabbed some window cleaner and I went around and cleaned all the lighting on the truck. Because with this time change, I'm coming into work when it's daylight, which is nice. Yeah. And the sun has shifted. It's shifted over on the horizon, so it's not right in my eyes all the time like it was earlier. My dad, being Mr. Astronomer, prophesized that would happen. So, and it's come true. So driving home, I'm driving home in the dark. Coming into work, if it's a sunny day, it's daylight, but the way the sun has shifted, it's not in my eyes anymore, and it's a little more tolerable. But at night, I got to run all the lights to watch for deer. And everything was all crusted up with crud, and the lights were dim. So I cleaned everything last night. And then my ventilation fan in the house is getting packed up with dust on the screen, and the louvers don't open up all the way when I turn that fan on. And so I grabbed my air compressor and a blowgun and a brush, and I cleaned all that up. And it's working much better. So I got some stuff done, and then I sat in a chair talking to Rob. Of course, every day, multiple times a day. And hit a wall, and down I went. So, speaking of Rob, like I said, he had a good weekend with Kate. She showed him some affection. He probably could have knocked boots with her had he not taken the high road and been a gentleman and didn't go there. So I told him I was proud of him for that. For not, he hasn't gotten laid in 3 months. Yep. So, and he's married. Legally, he can. You know, he could force himself on her and get his bean snapped, but he's taking the high road and not going there. I said, that's good. Don't put the focus on sex with her. Otherwise, she'll think you're shallow and you're just trying to get back with her to get your bean snapped. Take the high road and work on the issue. But that's his downfall. He keeps trying to work on the issue, and he's smothering her, and she's getting irritated with that. We're trying to figure out, and you can't figure out the mind of a lunatic. So we're trying, and I'm using past experiences when I was with her. All those memories are coming flooding back as we're talking about different scenarios, and I'm using them as examples as to who and what she really is. And what he's saying is, she was never like this for the 6 years up until now. I said, yeah, that's because you never poked the bear. Yep. You were coasting through the marriage. It was yuck good times, going on trips, going on adventures, buying toys, projects, things like this. You never got in a fight, until she snapped. I said, now you're seeing a whole new side of her that you'd never seen before. When I was with her, pretty much saw it right away because I poked the bear. Yeah, I'm a provocateur. As one of the members of the Peanut Gallery told me, you're an instigator. No, I call it like it is, fact, truth, reality. And a lot of people that are walking around on this planet that are fake as the day is long, they can't handle it. Just like that movie, you can't handle the truth. It's true. A sociopath or a narcissist, like the diva succubus mongoose, you hit them with fact, reality, and truth, and they just have a meltdown. So that's what happened. Kate had a meltdown, and now Kate is being the real Kate, not the fake Kate. And he's never experienced this before, so he's like an MMA fighter up against the cage. He's just bap, 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 bap. He doesn't know what's going on. So I'm trying to train him on the monster he's dealing with. I use the term monster loosely, but she's not a full-blown monster like some of them, like the diva. But I'm training him on what he's experiencing, and because he's never seen it before from her, so he's blindsided by it. So yeah. So now the latest worry, paranoia in Rob's mind is Kate cheating? You get in a relationship with Kate, a deal breaker will be if you cheated on her. That's a deal breaker. She's done with you. But she can cheat on you. Yeah. And when I was with her, there was several instances where I'm pretty sure she was cheating on me, but I never was able to get the smoking gun. I came close. Yep. Her story, she straight up lied to me as to where she was. I caught her in the act of not being where she said she was. When I called her out on it, she came up with a lame excuse as to where she was, knowing that I had no way to actually prove where she was. And that's all the farther you can go with it, right? If you have no way to prove that the person's telling the truth or lying, it's just your word against their word, and now you're at a stalemate. Yeah. So that was back before the days of tracking software on phones. That was flip phone days, the old flip phones. So all you could do is make phone calls and text people during that era. Yeah. Now it's different. There's programs, there's apps you can get on your phone, like Life 360, where you can track your partner and you can track your family members. Well, Kate's Life 360 has magically gone down since this squabble. Yeah, it doesn't work. It shows she's online, but nobody can see where she is or what she's doing. Now on Life 360, there's several sub-menus that you can go into, and you can toggle features off and on, like tracking and real-time tracking and things like this. And you can turn that stuff off and on in your settings for that app. But Rob doesn't have access to her phone. She won't give him her phone, so he can't go into the program and see if she turned something off. Yep. So yesterday, Rob's messaging her throughout the day. And once again, Rob's having to go to her. The queen's servant narrative. She's the queen. Thou must come to me to talk to me. Yeah. So Rob's interacting with her throughout the day, or trying to. After she gets done with work, which is around 2 in the afternoon, she goes radio silent for like 3 hours. Rob's trying to get a hold of her. He's trying to message her. She's not responding. So he sends her a hey, I'm getting worried. You know, what's going on? She finally responds and says she went to this troubled friend's house after work to talk to her. It's a female, supposedly. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So Rob's like, how do I know that's the truth? Rob's getting paranoid. Now, what Kate did to me when I was with her was, after she had flipped the switch in her brain that the relationship was done, she played a game, a puppeteer game of hope, no hope, hope, no hope, to make you dance. And that was her way of punishing you for doing something wrong against her, transgressing against her. She would punish you by making you twist in the wind, not knowing if you had a chance to get back with her or you didn't. Yeah, mental terrorism, right? She did that with me for 3 months, 4 months. One day I would think there was hope. The next day she would shoot me down. You know, and back and forth, back and forth. Meanwhile, she's on her phone behind the scenes lining up the next guy. Yep. And then when enough time had gone by with that new guy that she was talking to and flirting with to step into the relationship with him as a full-blown relationship, then she instigated a fight with me and dropped the hammer permanently, and immediately stepped out of me and stepped into the new guy. That's her pattern. That's her MO. Her whole life. There's no break with Kate in a relationship. She's always with somebody. The longest they've lasted in the past is a year or two. Except when she was married and she had a kid with a guy and she had to raise that kid. Same thing with the Diva Succubus Mongoose. The Diva Succubus Mongoose stayed in a relationship with Baby Daddy for 16 years so she could get the paycheck to pay to raise the kid. She played the game for 16 years. Yep. And then, when the kids were on the cusp of being adults, then she executed Baby Daddy and moved out on her own. Kate did the same thing. She stayed with the Baby Daddy in a relationship to raise him so that there was dual income. Well, she wasn't working. She was a bottom feeder. Yeah. So that's her MO. Step out of one, step into another. She never had downtime where she wasn't in a relationship or a situationship with somebody. And Rob and I are thinking that's what she's doing now. So when she went radio silent for 3 hours yesterday and came up with the excuse, oh, I was at this friend's house from work, Rob's all twisted up. He's like, I'd like to be able to hire a detective to follow her for 3 weeks and just see what's going on. Yeah. Yep. I said, what you need to do is to find out if she's being truthful. Find out the name and the phone number of this person. And when Kate goes MIA and says she's at this friend's house, call the friend and ask, hey, is Kate there? I need to talk to her. No, she's not here. I haven't seen her in a while. Bam, you got her. That's how you do it. But Kate will never give up that information. Nope, because she's thinking 6 steps ahead. She's so conniving and cunning and devious. She's thinking 6 steps ahead. What if Rob tries to call Julia, for example, to see if I'm there? Kate pulled that this weekend to see if Rob was truly at my house. Kate initiated a Facebook FaceTime video messaging session while Rob was sitting with us down in the lounge. And she claims, oh, I did it by accident. Now, when you do that, I've used Facebook Messenger, video messenger before. When you do that, it's a process. You have to go to the Messenger app that's affiliated with Facebook. You have to click on the video camera icon, and then your phone will ring the other person's phone. And if they're not sitting there with their phone in their hand where they can grab the phone immediately and answer the call, there's a delay while the phone is ringing. Then the other person accepts the video call, and whoop, the camera comes up and you're video calling. It takes time. So Kate says, oh, I did it by accident. Straight up lie. She did it on purpose. She sat there and stared at the phone, waited for Rob to dig the phone out of his pocket, go, what the hell's going on here, and answer the call. Then a few words were spoken and she hung up. What she was doing was looking at the background past Rob to see the house. She knows what my house looks like. She was there. When Deb and I first bought the house, we brought him up for a day and gave him a tour and hung out. Oh, yeah. Yep. Rob helped me put the dock in, I think. Yep. So they were here. She knows what the place looks like. She was confirming when Rob said he was going to Kenny's for the weekend. She doubted him. And she was just confirming if that was the truth. When Rob tried to do that to her yesterday, she didn't answer the phone for 3 hours and then said, oh, I was hanging out with a friend from work, a girlfriend from work. Rob has no proof of the truth. Nope. Nope. So, those are the games that Kate plays. And it's my job, as Rob's best friend, to make him aware of this. Yep. Yep. So that's what's bothering him now. And, you know, he's still sticking to his guns as far as not going to kiss her ass. He's not going to beg and grovel. He's not going to keep apologizing for his sins. No. But, oh yeah. Here's the difference between Kate and Rob and me and Deb. Yesterday, Scrunchy, for a while now, Scrunchy's been having problems at work. She's not happy with work. It's stressing her out, and she's getting difficult, frustrated. So yesterday, when we were interacting she started to get owly and punchy towards me. Yeah. And I didn't poke the bear. She wants to talk about it, but here's how women work. When they have a situation like this, they want to talk about it, but that's what they want to do. They want to just vent. They don't want your advice. They don't want your suggestions. They don't want your opinions, your viewpoints. They want you to just listen. You're a sounding board. Well, I'm a supreme being, so I have a lot of wisdom and advice and suggestions, right? So I find myself doing this. She started to try to talk about it yesterday, and I started hitting her with fact and reality to try to keep her grounded as to just how good she has it, where she's at. And so she doesn't shoot from the hip and make an irrational decision like she's prone to do based on emotions. That didn't go over well. So I was told she doesn't want to talk about it, blah, 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 and she got a little snotty. The difference between Kate and Rob and me and her is later on that evening, yesterday, she realized that she had been a little irritable, and she actually apologized. Yeah. Kate has never apologized to Rob for anything. It's Rob doing all the apologizing. And unlike Deb, when I do something, I shoot from the hip or something, and I realize, ooh, that was a little out of line, or that wasn't very nice, and I recognize that about myself, I literally go to Deb and I apologize. I give her a kiss on the forehead, and instantly, it's all good. We're back to where we were. Not in Kate's world. Rob has been apologizing for overreacting for weeks, and it doesn't matter. She doesn't forgive. She holds a grudge, and she will punish you for transgressing against her. Yep. So Kate has never apologized to Rob for how she's behaved or what she's done wrong in this particular situation. It's Rob doing all the work. So, yeah, Kate's not a good person, but she's a blacklighter. She's a witch. So it stands to reason. Yep. In the Wiccan world, the Wiccan religion, the woman believes they are superior to man. Hence the queen servant narrative. She's the queen, you're the servant. You must bow at her feet at all times. So Rob didn't serve the queen like he has for the past 6 years. He snapped at the queen. He went off on the queen. He threw his wedding band at the queen. Oh, you're gonna pay, boy. And she's been punishing him ever since. Now, in the case of Rob, Rob's not like all the other men she's been with that are begging and pleading, and Kate has become their whole world. She's the best thing that ever happened to him. Kate will never get a man of substance, just like the diva. The diva succubus mongoose will never get a man of worth, because a man of worth is confident, self-assured, and knows his value and his worth, and therefore he will not tolerate bullshit like the diva does and like Kate does. So a man of worth will just simply go, what? Oh, bye, sweet cheeks, and turn and walk away. Rob is a man of worth. Yep, not total polished worth, but he's a man of worth, and he's ready to walk away. Yeah, he will walk away, start over, and cut his losses. And Kate's never had that before, even in me. Yeah, I was a simp. Yeah, she was my world. She was my future wife, just like the diva succubus mongoose was. My world revolved around her. Her existence was my happiness. Oh yeah, it was a full-blown addiction. Rob can take it or leave it. So he says. But I believe him. Yep. He's already outlined a exit strategy, and he will do it. She pushes him far enough, he will do it. Yep. So now we're all thinking that Kate has ulterior motives. When she was nice to him this weekend and gave him some affection and physical contact, of course that gave Rob hope. So here we go with the puppet. And we're thinking Kate has ulterior motives as far as getting him to sign the refinance on the house to drop the mortgage payment down to where it's more manageable. And we're thinking she needs him to do this. She has to have his approval of this. And then she's going to drop the final hammer. Yeah, she'll instigate a fight and drop the hammer on him. Yep. So Rob and I were talking last night. I said, don't do it, buddy. I said, if you're going to do it, you better have contingencies. There better be contingencies on this. She needs to put her wedding band back on her left finger, which is a temporary thing. You can take it off 2 minutes later. She has to change her status on Facebook from separated back to married. Well, that can be changed in 2.7 seconds. You got to have contingencies on this before you sign your name on the line. Because once you sign your name on the line and the ink dries, you basically just gave her the house, and now she can get rid of you. But fact of the matter is, nobody in that household makes enough money to keep that house, even after it's been refinanced at the lower rate. They still can't afford it. They're upside down, big time. Bit off more than they could chew. So it ain't gonna happen. But Kate's disillusioned, and she thinks it can by bringing in a bunch of knuckle-dragging miscreants as room renters, like a boarding house. But in order to do that, there's legalities involved, insurance, licensing, things like this. You gotta have leases drawn up for the renters. You can't just have a bunch of hippies come in and, oh, you get that room, you get that room, you get that room, there's the kitchen, share the bathroom in the morning, let's draw up a schedule. No. And okay, hand me $400, I can make the mortgage. Doesn't work like that. No. It's not a squatter community. It's not a meth house. So she's in for a rude awakening. But she might be starting to realize this, because she's talking to her people behind Rob's back, and she might be starting to realize that, and now she's trying to butter up Rob to try to get him to stay in the picture. Yeah, it was insinuated by her that they get divorced, but yet they stay together as roommates, so he pays part of the mortgage and she can keep the house. She's literally putting the house over the marriage. Over the marriage. When the proper response from a good wife is, I would live with you in a box, or I would live with you in a homeless encampment. As long as I'm with you, that's all that matters to me. That's the proper response from a wife that is putting you number one. Kate has gone from a non-materialistic possession girl to possessions mean everything. Nice car, nice house, nice toys. Yeah, she's flipped. Yep. She got a taste of the good life, thanks to Rob helping her get it. And now that has become most important to her. So we all see it. If it was the opposite, she would say, well, I don't care if we lose the house. I don't care if we have to sell the toys and downsize and get a smaller house somewhere else, or if we have to go back to renting. As long as I'm with you, Rob, that's all that matters to me. As long as you are my husband and we're a team, we will get through anything. Nope. Her focus is, what in the hell can I do to keep my toys and keep my house? Let's screw over the guy that helped me get it. Let's claw tooth and nail to keep the stuff. Yep. All right, my battery's gonna die on the phone. I gotta get going. I got a long drive ahead of me, so we'll talk to you soon.